Hey guys. So I've seen a video of someone opening an old book. The Rand McNally World Atlas International Edition from 1941, pointing out that it shows Palestine and not Israel. Knowing there are a lot of people out there who openly dislike Jews and sometimes use Zionism as a way to justify that, I think it's worth taking a step back and looking at the actual history of the land. Because the reality is, the region didn't just suddenly start existing in 1941 or 1948. Long before modern political borders, this land had many names and was ruled by many different peoples. In ancient times, there were the Kingdom of Israel and Judah, where Jewish populations lived for centuries. But they weren't the only ones. This region has always been a crossroads of cultures, empires, and religions. Then came empires like that of Alexander the Great, who conquered the region in the 4th century BCE. After him, control passed between different powers, including the Seleucids, and later the Romans, or Seleucids, and then the Romans. It was under the Romans, especially after Jewish revolts, in the 1st and 2nd century CE, that the name Syria Palestina became widely used. This wasn't the birth of a modern nation, it was an administrative name given by an empire. Over the centuries, the region continued to change hands. Byzantine, Islamic caliphates, Crusaders, the Ottoman Empire, and eventually the British. Throughout much of this history, Jewish communities remained connected to the land, but they were also repeatedly displaced, persecuted, and forced into the diaspora across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. Fast forward to the 20th century, after centuries of displacement and especially after the horrors of the Holocaust, many Jews sought a place where they could live safely and governing themselves. That led to the creation of the modern state of Israel in 1948. But this is where the story becomes deeply painful on all sides. Because the creation of Israel also led to the displacement of many Palestinians, people who had been living in that land for generations. So what we're looking at isn't a simply story of one side is good, one side bad. It's a layered history of overlapping claims, displacement, survival, and identity. Yes, old maps might show Palestine and not Israel, but maps are a snapshot in time. They reflect political realities of the specific moment, not the full history of a region. If you're going to talk about this topic honestly, we have to acknowledge all of it. The deep historical roots of Jewish people in the land, the centuries of displacement they faced, and the very real displacement and suffering of Palestinians as well. Reducing this history to a single narrative doesn't help anyone. Understanding it might not solve the conflict, but it's a better place to start than ignoring half the story. And with that said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.